Does anyone have a question?
I have a question, Stuart, Chris.
It's Chris.
Stuart, in this class, I was really feeling the presence of Christ and a lot of color, blue color. And I was wondering if color has significance.
Uh, uh, is this a real need in you to learn about this, or is this just some intellectual thing you're asking me to find out about color? I mean, does this come from a place inside that's really going to change you and help you to grow? Or
I,
what is this? You want me to define color and meditation?
I feel like even though I was raised in a Christian household, I never really fully gotten Christ till lately. And it seems to be also associated with this color. And I think it's just because of our work and a new understanding.
Look, I'll give you, Chris, in my house, let me take you a little tour, okay? You,
Okay.
you come into the apartment. On your right is an 18th century painting, Japanese painting of a Bodhisattva. Right next to him is a Ganesh from also the 18th century India. Right above that is a Jain mandala, from the 16th century. You go into Jennifer's room, there's an absolutely extraordinary painting of Christ from the 17th century, probably Spanish,
Mm.
oh, maybe Spanish colonial, and on and on. And what I find is that it's a milieu, and the source of all of these religions is the exact same thing.
Oh,
The exact same thing. I mean, there are teachers I heard talk about the blue world. So, this cosmic place of enlightenment. And I don't know, Chris. I mean, all I know is that when I go to the source of any religion, be it Christianity, Judaism, uh, you know, Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, uh, it's the same depth of experience. The problem is that that depth of experience isn't taught in the religion. It's only dogma that's created by men that's taught in those religions, in all the religions, instead of going to the source of the religion. And if you go to the source of these religions, it's all the same thing.
okay.
It's all being nothing, being one with God, becoming a child of God, total surrender to higher energy in the universe. The realization that the material world is just an illusion. I mean, it's a world we have to live in because for some reason the universe tests us with this madness. So we have to learn to give Caesar Caesar's due and to do it with an open heart, with love, and to recognize that the source of all religion, is the same. And if people would tap that source, the world would change. Understand? Instead of, you're going to rot in hell and, to be this or that and Jews versus Muslims. And I mean, it's all crazy. It has nothing to do with the spiritual life. And I think the important thing is really learning how to get to the source of all. I mean, I have an incredible sculpture right up here, a 17th century ivory carving of Christ. And it's really beautiful. It's deeply and profoundly spiritual. And
Mm.
that's why I got it. Not because I want a picture of Christ in my room. It was so profoundly spiritual that I said, okay, I'm going to go get this thing. And to me, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And I happen to have a very great love for not religious paintings, but artists that have captured the spiritual nature
Mhm.
of energy in the world. I have a very deep love for that. And yes, I mean, color is important, light is important. When you start getting to the source of these religions, you begin to see colors and light and auras, and the whole world begins to look different. The world becomes a different place that we live in. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a theologian. I'll never be a theologian, and I rather find it boring,
Yeah.
interpretations of religion and my interpretation and yours, and who's right and who's wrong, and who's God and who's what is this. Who cares? You understand? It's just a matter of opening and learning how to live with the highest principle of all, and that is God is love.
Yes. Yeah.
God isn't just a Christian.
Yeah.
God is Christian, Jew, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, atheists, agnostics. It's all God's world. And it's created as the greatest teacher that exists in the life of every single human being, and a teacher that is completely ignored by most people. And that's why you have so much craziness in the world. So the world is insane. Everybody ignores the great guru called life. Everybody knows better than life. And the funny thing is, it's been around here a lot longer than all of us. It's got to know something that none of us know.
Yeah.
We have to learn to listen and not divide it into Christian, Jewish. I mean, I got tired of that when I was 16 years old. I said, no, this is not the way.
Yeah.
I said, let me find a way that encompasses the total teachings of what life has to offer. I mean, I get a kick out of going to Varanasi. I used to really get a kick and seeing all these sadhus, and
Yeah.
it was like a Hindu circus. It was wonderful, you know. But was it the beginning and end of all spirituality? No. No, it's just it should be another path to the divine.
So great. I was so surprised, and thank you. That really helps clarify that. Thank you. I was so surprised.
Well, I don't know, not too much surprise. Look, I have images of Christ all over my apartment. I have images of the Buddha all over my bodhisattvas. I can't find very good Kabbalistic art. I don't know where to look for it. But if I could find it, I would have that too. If I could find really good stuff. It's all God's teachings. And our responsibility as human beings is to begin to listen to this incredibly sacred teaching that is called life in all its manifestations, and not get into our brain that one path is better than another. And then people start killing each other.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not a Christian. You're going to roast in hell. I mean, it's so stupid. I mean, I remember I saw a play by George Bernard Shaw. I'll never forget this, called Don Juan. And it was there was a really funny scene in there where uh, Don Juan starts, they thought, well, you're going to roast in hell. You have such evil ways. And he said, I'd much rather go roast in hell. Who is in hell? The Buddha.
Yeah.
I mean, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Heaven, Oral Roberts. I mean, all of these guys, that preach like crazy. I mean, I really cracked up, and I never forgot. I don't remember the exact words of that little scene, but it was something like that. I'm going to meet the greatest people that ever lived in hell.
It's great.
Bernard Shaw had a sense of humor. And that's the first step to getting to heaven, just having a sense of humor about life. Does
Thank you.
anyone else have a question they would like to ask? You can ask a question. Look what comes out. I tell you, it's not me answering these questions. I'm just a vehicle through which all of this comes, being used by a higher energy. 50 years of training have given me the ability to be used by this higher energy for this to come for all of you. At any rate, it's the end of the year. Let's go into the next year with really big open hearts, with love, with commitment to a spiritual life, and that's the big thing. I mean, nobody's going to have a spiritual life coming to one meditation every 3 months. There has to be a commitment to a practice and doing it every day. Even if you don't come, you got to do it every day. I mean, we go to our jobs every day. We go, if you stop going to your job, you get fired. So this has to have some significance. I mean, I was getting tired. I was thinking, I mean, maybe I'll vet the people here, people that don't, come once a month. I mean, what's the point? People that never contribute anything and they never contribute anything to make this happen and to keep this going. What's the point? You got to give something in order to get. And it's not even a gift because it has to come from the heart. Thank you. It has to be something of thank you. I'm willing to mature enough in myself to be able to offer. It could be an apple pie. It could be 3 roses. It could be, I remember that young kid and Rudy came in with a bag of M&Ms, and Rudy, was giving M&Ms out to everybody in the room. It was this great prasad he had, and hugging that kid and thanking him for the bag of M&Ms. That M&Ms came out of that kid's heart. And we need to learn to give unconditionally. Stop being afraid of things. Stop being afraid of receiving, of giving, of really being involved in life. I'll never forget that bag of M&Ms. It was such a great teaching for me. I mean, I couldn't walk past Rudy's store without leaving. I mean, even if he wasn't even open, I would leave a flower, a little plant, a sweater, something. I couldn't go past there without bringing something. I was so grateful for what this man had taught me. I really was. And I had no money when I was, 25 years old. Man, I was practically living on the streets. I was sleeping on the floor of a friend of mine's apartment. But I couldn't go there without bringing something. Or what can I do to help you? Can I scrape a fire escape? Can I clean out of this? Can I do that? What can I do to contribute something to make you've done so much for my life. What can I do to contribute something to help your life? Make it a little better. This is all part of it. It's learning how to surrender and how to really open and have true, unconditional gratitude. And it comes through one's actions. It doesn't come because, lip service. I love you. I love you. I've heard that so much. Bring a bag of M&Ms, for God's sake. Does anyone have a question they would like to? It's Christmas time, and it's a good time. It's a time of, look, what is Christmas? It's the birth of the soul, the child of God in every single human being. That's what Christmas symbolizes. It's the child of God being born in each and every human being, and the crucifixion is we spend a lifetime crucifying ourselves, that child of God. That's how we spend a lifetime, crucifying that child of God. Instead of working to open and resurrect that spirit, nurture that spirit, let it become one with God, have spiritual enlightenment. I mean, this to me is the profoundest elements of Christianity, although nobody ever talks about it this way. And I think Christmas is a wonderful time to remember this. It's the birth of the child of God in every single human being. None of us would be alive if we didn't have the seed of God inside us. So it's a holy, day. I think every day is holy. I'm tired of waiting for specific days to celebrate the holiness of life. Every day is holy. Every day is sacred. Every day, the child of God can be and should be born inside every single one of us. And then we have to wait for Easter to resurrect that child. We should resurrect that child every day. We certainly beat it up enough every day, so let's try and resurrect it.
It's true.
Does anyone else have a question? So God bless you all. Have a wonderful holiday, and there'll be no class on Wednesday. I need a rest. I really do. It's been a hell of a year. I'm really tired, and I'm not tired of doing this. I mean, not easy, this thing I do here. But it's been a long year. So we'll take Wednesday and we won't have a class. And then there'll be a class on Thursday. There'll be a class tomorrow. I teach a class in Europe and the Middle East. And a lot of people from the States come too, and Brazil. So there will be a class at 1:00 my time tomorrow, but Wednesday is a day off. So God bless you all. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Thursday. Have a wonderful holiday. God bless you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank
You're
you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Have a beautiful day off. Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.